Yo, hey guys, what is up? It's JJ Tech here, back again for another brand new video. And in today's video, as you can see by the title and thumbnail, I'm going to be reviewing the iPhone 13 Pro Max after 1 month of use. Now, I know I said I was going to upload a review video of this phone about a week to 2 weeks later after I did the unboxing video of this phone, but I actually wanted to get a more in-depth review. I feel like a week or 2 weeks isn't really enough to kind of give you a good review on the use of this phone. So I waited a little bit more and I realized, you know what, I'm going to give them a month review. Sorry for the wait, guys. I know it seems like kind of got lazy, but it wasn't the case. I did want to get some good use out of this phone and really see the differences between my last phone, which was the iPhone XR, to this brand new 13 Pro Max. So with no further ado, let's get into the video. So first off, you guys already know I start off with design. I go off by the design first to let you guys know what I think of this design, whether it's better than my last phone or if it's the best iPhone design. And guys, I love the design of this phone. I love this blue color. Yes, this is in the new Sierra blue color. It doesn't really look blue on camera. It actually looks kind of gray, but it is blue. It is a very subtle blue. In fact, you can barely notice it. In some lights it actually looks space gray. But yeah, guys, this is the Sierra blue color. I love the design of this phone, and this camera module is absolutely massive. Now, it looks actually a little bit bigger than normal because I do have this protector over it, kind of like a screen protector. I do have that over the camera module, so if it looks a little odd, it's because of that. But yeah, I love these stainless steel edges, guys. Sure, they are definitely a fingerprint magnet, guys, but once you slap on a case, it is not a big deal at all. And speaking of the case, here's the case I have for this phone. Of course, I took it off for the video. But yeah, guys, this design on this phone is probably the best by far. And do I like it more than my iPhone XR though? Yes, I do. It didn't take much thinking to know that this design is definitely better looking than my iPhone XR. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for design on this 13 Pro Max. Now I'm gonna get the tech specs out of the way. I don't like to put that out there too much because it's a little technical. Most people don't even know what it means, but this thing is rocking an A15 Bionic with 6 GB of RAM. We do have a liquid retina display. I believe it's the liquid retina XDR. We do have 120 Hertz for the first time on an iPhone, guys. This is a game changer. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But yeah, guys, this is definitely a game changer. Like I said, once you go back to 60 Hertz, it almost feels like a 10-year-old phone, because once you hop on to 120 Hertz, you can never go back. Oh yeah, and this is a 6.7-inch display as well. So it is a pretty hefty phone. But I love big phones. I had an iPhone XR in the past, like I keep mentioning. That was a 6.1-inch display, and it felt actually pretty small. And once I hopped over to this phone, it felt massive for a little bit, but honestly, it feels around the same. I love big phones. As you know, my last 2 phones, I had a T-Mobile Rebel Plus. It was probably a little wider than this, but about the same height. And yeah, guys, I love that phone. So yeah, the bulkiness of this phone isn't really too much of a problem. And for the cameras, we do have 3 of them. We got 3 13 megapixel cameras. We do got a main lens, an ultra wide lens, and a telephoto lens. We do have the flash module, and this is the depth sensor and the LiDAR sensor. I get that confused. I believe this is a LiDAR sensor. I did look this stuff up before, but sometimes I do get confused. And we do have a little microphone here, that little hole right there. So now that we got the design and the tech specs out of the way, now let's get on to the review of this phone. So like I said, I've been using it for about a month. In fact, I'm going to be uploading this video on October 24th or 25th. So pretty much exactly a month apart. So this is a pretty fair review. Like I said, I wanted to do a month just because I feel like in the past, I am trying to improve my review videos. So I feel like 1 to 2 weeks just isn't really enough for a lot of things that I want to do. So I feel like a month was perfect. Not saying that that's going to be the case with every review that I do, because I feel like a month is definitely a long time. This is my first time trying this method out. You guys already know the first thing I got to talk about is the 120 Hertz display, guys. Like I said, OLED screen, 120 Hertz, first time ever on an iPhone, guys. And oh my gosh, guys, once I switched over, guys, like just having the iPhone XR and the 13 Pro Max just next to each other, doing just the most basic tasks like scrolling through text, just scrolling through your main homepage, the iPhone XR almost feels like a 10-year-old phone. Not even kidding. This phone is so fluid. Like I said, once you go to 120 Hertz, you can never go back. Perfect example here. I know we're not talking about monitors, but This Asus right here is a 75 Hertz monitor, and then this LG panel right here is a 144 Hertz monitor. The difference on these two is literally insane. When I'm only using this display, guys, it feels like I said a 5 to 10 year old panel, but once I'm on this display, it feels like the next generation of displays. And it's the same thing with this phone. Definitely by far one of my most favorite things on the brand new iPhones this year. And why am I holding the phone like this? Kind of awkward, right? Now, something that's more subtle and not many people actually noticed that Apple even did this was that they actually shrink the notch by just a little bit, by I believe 20% smaller. Now, even though it is shorter, it's actually a little bit taller by this much, by just a hair, but honestly, you don't even notice it. And since it is smaller, you would think that maybe Apple would throw in that battery percentage on the side here. As you can see, they don't show the battery percentage, but they didn't do really anything with that, which I'm pretty surprised. Now, iOS 15 is pretty new, and they are starting to update it more and more. I believe we're on iOS 15.02 right now at this point, and I'm hoping that they end up using this extra space for some more useful tools. Like, for example, like, why do I need to know that I have T-Mobile? I know I have T-Mobile. I feel like this area right here could just be used for something else. Now, no improvements to Face ID, surprisingly. It's still around the same speed as my last phone, maybe just a tad bit faster because of better optimization, but honestly, no improvements there. Now, this is probably my second favorite thing on this phone, and you know how I said this was a telephoto lens? Well, this is actually also a macro lens, guys, new for the brand new iPhones, for the pros only. Guys, you can get close to a subject, like literally this close, like I am to you guys, and it will focus like nothing. So I'm going to pop up a sample up here to show you guys what I mean. And as you can see here, you can get pretty close to the subject, in fact very close. I don't think many other phones have this feature. Now, at first I thought it was kind of gimmicky, I'm not really going to use it, but actually it's very, very useful tool. When you want to get close to text, you can't really see it, you kind of just put the phone closer to the subject and you'll be able to see it. Like I said, that's probably my second favorite thing about this phone, other than that 120 Hertz. Now, you're not going to hear me talk about too many things, just because honestly, there isn't that much difference between the iPhone 10 and the iPhone 13. Yes, guys, it's almost just slight improvements from the iPhone 10 to the iPhone 11 to the iPhone 12 and now to the 13. They've all just been slight improvements, but I think this year was definitely the biggest out of all of those generations because of that 120 Hertz. I know I keep bringing it up, but like I said, it's my favorite feature by far. Like I said, I'm never going to be able to go back to a 60 Hertz screen. Now, the front-facing camera, they of course has a wide-angle lens as well. It is obviously just one lens, but they do have a wide-angle mode. And one thing they did add to the cameras this year is a cinematic mode. As you can see here, cinematic mode right there. And pretty much what it does is when you click record, it pretty much does portrait mode in video. So I'm showing you guys right here. Not sure if you guys can see that, but it is blurring out the background. Like I said, it's pretty much just portrait mode for video. And guys, it is awesome. Still not perfect. There's still some edges that it kind of cuts off. For example, my ears, it kind of cuts off my ears a little bit with that blur. But like I said, it's just going to keep getting better and better over time. Yet again, my third favorite feature of this phone so far. And I'm not even a person that uses the cameras like that, but this year they definitely got me using it more and more. Now, next up, that OLED screen. Now, the iPhone XR that I had in the past was an LCD screen. It wasn't even 1080p, and it was perfectly fine. That display was absolutely awesome. But moving up to this OLED screen, guys, I believe this is a 2K panel. A massive difference, guys. The blacks are very black. For example, you're in a dark room, you put on a black image, and it doesn't even look like the phone is on. And in case you guys want to know, that's actually a good thing for OLED. Those dark blacks is what you want for an OLED panel. And guys, this panel, like I said, is probably one of the best other than Samsung's panels because they're so vibrant with that AMOLED display. But for iPhones, guys, this is definitely the best, and like I said, my fourth favorite feature. Now, this next one might seem actually kind of odd, but the base storage has now been upgraded, guys. Yes, finally Apple is no longer starting out their phones with 64 gigabytes. They're finally starting them out with 128, and that's exactly what I have here, 128. It was actually kind of pathetic that over $1,000 and they're still starting out their phones with 64 gigabytes. It was time, Apple, and they finally did it. Just something I'd point out, and it's not on my list of my top features, but I just thought it would be something I would point out. Now next up, the 5G. As you can see here, this phone does support 5G, and coming from a phone that only had 4G LTE, which yet again my iPhone XR, and moving to 5G, surprisingly I didn't notice that much of a difference, but when I went to download an app, the difference is actually insane. For example, I downloaded COD Mobile, and as you know, that game is a pretty heavy game, and usually when you download it from the App Store, it tells you, are you sure you want to download this over cellular? Do you not? And when I clicked yes, guys, it honestly downloaded it within 10 minutes, maybe even less, guys. And with my iPhone XR, it took about 15 to 20 minutes when I was on cellular. So that is a massive, massive difference. But there are some cases where the 5G does kind of dip. Now this does depend on the carrier that you have. I do have T-Mobile. They probably have one of the best 5Gs in the world right now. I don't know for sure though. It could just be the carrier. But yeah, definitely a massive, massive difference when downloading apps. But when just browsing normally, I don't see much of a difference. Now to move on things I don't like about this phone. But here's the thing. I actually love everything about this phone. There really is nothing I don't like about this phone. I mean, I loved everything from my last phone, and Apple only improved upon that with this generation of iPhone. So yeah, I have nothing that I dislike about this phone. Now one thing that I thought was going to be a little bit of a gripe was that they moved the earpiece just a tad bit, pretty much at the top of the phone. I wish I had the iPhone XR here to kind of compare, but I don't have that anymore. So I was going to do a comparison between this phone and the iPhone XR, but I did do a trade-in, so that phone is no longer with me, sadly, so I can't be doing that. But yeah, back to what I was saying. As you can see here, the earpiece has been moved. As you know, before it was pretty much in the middle of this notch. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get the perfect angle here. As you can see here, it's pretty much all the way at the top, and I thought it would be more annoying. Maybe I would have to move the phone down, but honestly, you don't even notice that they even made that change. But yeah, just something that I thought was going to be a little bit annoying. But yeah, now this review might seem like it's all over the place, kind of pointing out things that I don't like, things that I love, my top 5. But like I said, I want to keep this review as real as possible, kind of tell you my experience with the phone and tell you everything. Like I said, I don't have a certain order that I'm doing this video in. I'm kind of just giving you guys my experience with the phone, the things that I like. Now next up, I couldn't finish making this review video without mentioning the battery life on this phone. And guys, now I know this is a brand new phone, so the battery is brand new, so it hasn't deplenished over time or any of that, obviously. So I'm going to get the best battery life. But guys, the battery life on this thing, I can last 3 days without charging this phone. I'm not even kidding. I've tested it, and guys, it just doesn't die. I end up putting it to charge when it's like at 20%. But like I said, it's definitely better than the iPhone XR for sure. This does have a bigger battery, but it is also a bigger phone. It also, with that 120 Hertz display, it does use up a little bit more battery, but it's almost like that 120 Hertz panel isn't even there, just because the battery life is insane on this phone. But I'm going to have to update you guys later on as the battery starts to deplenish over time and see how the battery life does over time. Now, still no USB-C, but that's not really big of a deal in my book. Apple wants to stick to their proprietary port. Not really that big of a deal. I mean, it's not like I have many things that use USB-C. I only have a couple things. So the Lightning port still being around isn't really that big of a deal. Now, I did upgrade to the 20-watt fast charger. I did have to buy that separately. And guys, it charges the phone from 0 to 50% in around 10 minutes. And then to 0 to 100. I actually haven't brought this phone down to 0%, so I can't tell you that. But from 20% to 100, it probably takes 40 to 45 minutes is what I've noticed. And guys, like I said, the fast charger, the battery life on this thing, absolutely insane. But yet again, I'm going to have to update you guys later on once the battery starts to get some use on it. But yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps up today's video. Like I said, there's nothing that I don't like about this phone. Everything about this phone is more than what I could possibly ask for. Like I said, the thing that I'm most excited about when they first announced this was the 120 Hertz. That right there alone was wanting to make me upgrade, and as you can see here, I have it right here in my hands, and that 120 Hertz, it just doesn't come across here on camera. I wish I could show you guys, but this video is being recorded in 60 FPS. There's just no way. You guys have to go look at this thing in a store or something, or have it in your hand and compare it to the last phone to really see the difference. But if you're a tech person like me, you don't even need a 60 Hertz phone next to you to notice the difference. But yeah, guys, that's my review, my 1 month review of the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Now, I know I unboxed the 13 Pro and 13, but I actually don't have the 13 with me right now, and the 13 Pro is pretty much exactly identical to this phone other than the size. Everything else is literally exactly the same, so I didn't bother to do a review on that phone since it's pretty much the same as the 13 Pro Max. But stay tuned for that iPhone 13 review video. That is a different phone. It is smaller battery. It is less expensive than this phone. We only have dual cameras on that phone, so stay tuned for that video dropping. Maybe not after this video, because next video I'm only gonna flash it. Oop. Those of you that know, this is gonna be the next video, so stay tuned for that video. I kind of gave a little bit of a hint on what's gonna be the next video. But yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps up today's video. Don't forget to subscribe down below. Give me some video ideas. Also, I'm gonna be streaming every Friday from now on. As you know, in the past, I did try to stream every Friday, but I kind of changed it up to just streaming once a week. It didn't matter which weekday it was, but just one day out of the week. But I'm going to switch it back to every Friday, so stay tuned for a live stream coming up this Friday. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much wraps up today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace out.